Welcome back to Resistance Radio, 970 WGTK, and very happy and honored to bring on the line with me a good friend, Mr. Pat Fields. And Pat has been working with the Louisville Irish Fest for a number of years, especially cultivating the history exhibit. Pat, welcome to Resistance Radio.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
No problems. I'm glad to have you here. Now, how long have you been involved with the Irish Fest? I know it's been a great number of years, but...
Well, after I retired from my Air Force job, I came back to this area and started working with my sister and the folks who had organized the resurgence of the Irish Festival in about 2004. So from that point on, we have continued to grow with the festival, and we think that we have a pretty nice setup of displays.
I think it's an incredible setup of displays, and it's very, a lot of people need to hear, need to see, need to touch history. And I think you guys do a great job of bringing all the elements and all the aspects of history together. The music, the movies, the political figures, the literary figures, and you can actually see the works of, James Joyce. You can see the music of, U2 CD cases hanging on the wall. You can see the uniforms they wore during the Easter uprising. I mean, the uniforms, the flags, everything. And it has continued to grow over the years, and I think you guys do an excellent job.
I think people like Martha Ford, her husband Jerry, who helped get this entire process started, deserve a lot of credit for recognizing that we didn't want to be just another festival where you went, drank some green beer, and walked around with "Kiss Me, I'm Irish" buttons. But we wanted to expose people to a lot of this wonderful culture that was brought over by our grandparents and their parents, and has been so rich and meaningful to this country.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Martha and Jerry, and I moved down here in 1990. I came down in August of 1990, and September was Irish Fest. And Martha and Jerry were two of the first people I met outside of school in Louisville. And they remain, Jerry up until the day he died was a wonderful man, a great friend. I got a couple of pieces of his artwork hanging around my house. Martha has been absolutely, the words can't even describe, a second mother to me over the years. And when my sister opened a coffee house in New Jersey, lo and behold, Martha Ford is up in New Jersey hosting or assisting to host an Irish festival with all kinds of vendors that she introduced to my sister and helped my sister launch an Irish coffee shop in New Jersey. So Martha, her reach goes well beyond the walls of Louisville, and her and Jerry were, as you said, absolutely fundamental in this event taking place. Now, you also mentioned the resurgence of the Irish Fest, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because for a few years when the Irish Fest moved down to the Belvedere, I think it kind of got lost. And, because so many events happen at the Belvedere. And, you got one festival after another. They kind of run into each other. The waterfront, being right there on the water is nice, but it's nothing like being on the campus at Bellarmine, which is where the festival has returned the last couple of years, and frankly, where it belongs. Absolutely. I agree with you. The venue that we have, the help we get from the staff at Bellarmine has just been tremendous. They have a beautiful campus. The quad that we use to set up most of the event is just perfect for what we're trying to do. And, of course, the inside venues that we've been offered and have taken advantage of have allowed us to do more than we could have ever done down on the Belvedere. Well, exactly. And your specific exhibit is inside at Wyatt Hall. And so if you go up this weekend, and I know everyone's going to, I shouldn't say if, because I know everyone listening is going to go to the Irish Fest next weekend. When you do, be sure to go into Wyatt Hall and check out the history talks that are going on. You guys have got a couple of things lined up. I want to go through the lineup a little bit, and then we'll come back and touch on them individually. But one on Saturday at 4 p.m., you got the 150th anniversary of Gettysburg and the Irish Brigade. Saturday at 2 and at 4, you have the Good Friday Agreement, 15 years on, which is basically what has caused the ceasefire in Northern Ireland and the relative peace that we've seen in Northern Ireland for the last 15 years. Saturday and Sunday both, you have talks on the 1798 Rebellion. Saturday and Sunday both, you have talks on the Irish in Louisville. And on Sunday at 1, you have the Irish Civil War, focusing on the period of time after the treaty, in which the 6 counties were divided from the north, from the south. So you offer an awful lot on a lot of different levels. What I want you to explain a little bit, obviously without giving too much away, is tell everybody a little bit about the Irish in Louisville exhibit that's going to be going on Saturday and Sunday.
This is one of the areas that my sister Barbara is more of an expert than I am. She has spent a lot of time combing through archives, spending time down at the University of Louisville Library. We've spent a lot of time online, and she's managed to gather a fair amount of information about the Irish in Louisville. Last year, she gave a presentation on Bloody Monday, and of course that is a very important event in Louisville's history. It was the anti-immigrant riots that took place in the mid-1800s. But she's going to talk a little bit about that, talk about the Irish contribution to the Union cause, talk a little bit about the Kentucky Irish American, a wonderful newspaper that ran for quite a while, based out of Kentucky, was tremendously important to the Irish community throughout the country. And then, of course, a little concentration on Limerick, which grew out of the Louisville and Nashville railroad workers that had come to find jobs when they immigrated to this land.
Wow. Yeah, there's a huge Irish history here, which is why the festival has been so successful for over 20 years. And it's good to find out about the Irish in your own neighborhood, in your own backyard. It's not something that's only 3,000 miles away on the Emerald Isle or up in New York or Philadelphia, but there's a huge Irish history here in Louisville. So it's good to stop on by and find out some more information about it. The other one, which I'll tell you right now, personal favorite of mine, and I can't wait to hear more about, the 150th anniversary of Gettysburg and the Irish Brigade. Well, what's that going to be like for you?
Well, now you're cheating on me there, Jim, because I know that you are a history buff, and I also know that you've visited Gettysburg.
Yes.
There's Gettysburg actually represents pretty much the culmination of the Irish Brigade's effectiveness as a Union fighting force. At that point, they had suffered so many losses because of their tremendous courage and willingness to take objectives that other companies, other brigades could not. That their numbers had dwindled to the point that after Gettysburg, they really were no longer effective as a brigade. But I mean, the courage it took to get to that point. And the fact that these are men who, when they first came to this country, they were treated as outcasts.
Yeah.
That's something that I think, is important for people to realize that, the very people that you shun today may well be the people that save your lives.
Very well could happen. You're absolutely right. I can tell you, I'm going to let you in a little bit of my history here. I found out this summer when I was at Gettysburg, put all the pieces together on my family jigsaw puzzle, and I can tell you that one of my great-grandfathers, James Coyle, was a part of the Fighting 69th out of Philadelphia, Company G, and when he was on the battlefield at Gettysburg and Pickett made his charge, it was Company G that went around behind Pickett and sealed up the Union line once again so that the Confederates advancing were separated from Pickett. And of course, that put them in harm's way, to say the least, because not only were they taking Confederate fire from in front and behind, but they were also taking friendly fire, which is what they believe dropped my great-grandfather on the field there at Gettysburg. I know it's more than one grade, it's a few grades back, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, the courage shown by these men is just tremendous. The ability to march into those battles knowing that the people next to you are dropping left and right, yet continuing to march forward. I just get cold chills thinking about it.
Hey, Pat, we got to go to a break. We'll be right back with more on the Irish Fest on 970 WGTK. Hang out. Welcome back to Resistance Radio. I'm having too much fun here tonight. Pat Fields was my guest on the line. Pat, I want to thank you for calling in tonight and enlightening us about the history exhibit out at the Louisville Irish Fest.
Well, like I said, I appreciate the time on your show. I would like to put in one plug, though.
Sure, go for it.
A couple years ago, you brought us an exhibit that has just thrilled people. You brought us that voting record from one of your relatives.
Yes.
Tremendous document. A lot of the Irish that were in the Civil War gained their citizenship because of their military service.
Absolutely, yeah.
And in order to prove that, to vote, they were given particular documents that had to be presented when it came time to vote.
Yep.
You were kind enough to loan us a copy of yours so that we could include it in the display. I'd like to encourage any of your listeners that if they have documents or information like that, please bring it to us. We would be honored to include more things in our display such as that.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I was very honored to bring it to you guys. They're actually citizenship papers. And again, this was a great grandfather, a couple of grades back, on my dad's grandmother's side. And it was actually his daughter and the man that I just told you about, James Coyle, that got killed at Gettysburg. It was their kids that married after the war, where the two families came together. So that's kind of how it all worked out there for us. But it was an honor to share it with you. I was glad to do it, and glad to know that people are enjoying it. And I appreciate your research on the stamps, because I didn't have all that information before I showed it to you, and you dug up all the material about the stamps on the voting stamps on there. So appreciate it. Thank you. All right, well, Pat, I appreciate you coming on the air tonight, and I also have some other guys from the Irish Fest. Pat, do you know Josh and Matt of Lachlan?
I have not met them personally. I have heard them, and I think they're fantastic.
Well, everybody in Louisville's about ready to hear them, because as we get off the line with you, these guys are going to play some songs and talk to us for a little while about the music side of the fest.
All
right, Pat, thanks a lot for the phone call, and I will see you next weekend at the fest.
All right, Jim.
All right. As I mentioned, I got Josh and Matt in here. Gentlemen, welcome. Hello.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to the music. Why don't you guys just bust out a song here and give everyone an example of what they can hear this upcoming weekend at the Irish Fest?
Absolutely. This one's called January Winds. 3 long years I've been chained to a never-changing door, and now I'm the lumber to build my own ship, and the January winds are calling. The harbor master calls my name. It is time for you to set sail. You have a new journey, trust me, he says. Just follow the January winds. I hear the wind and it's calling my name. Let's cast off, set the sails, and let's go. January winds, please carry me fast, far away from this wretched land I know. Far away from this wretched land I know. tides are turning. There's change in the salty air. I feel a warm breeze washing over me. I'm ready for the January winds. My brig is ready to sail, to face whatever may come. Let it storm, let it rain, I will dance just the same. I'm ready for the January winds. I hear the wind and it's calling my name. Let's cast off, set the sails and let's go. January wind, please carry me fast, far away from this wretched land I know. Far away from this wretched land I know.
Wow. Excellent. Now, you said that's an original piece.
That is an original piece, yes.
That's fantastic. It made me wish I had my bodhrán here with me. I was playing the air bodhrán here. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, that's just a traditional Irish drum. And you're playing some traditional pipes there. You want to explain the pipes you're playing? Because a lot of people just think there's one type of pipe, and it's the big Scottish droning pipes. But that's not the case. You want to tell them what you're playing there, Josh?
Yeah, I'm actually playing the Irish uilleann pipes. They're, as far as I'm aware, they were formed because the big pipes were kind of banned in Scotland and Ireland, and they had to sit down to play these pipes, so they couldn't be war pipes.
Right, and a little easier to conceal as well. The music could be
yeah, it's much softer.
Much softer. Doesn't echo through the hills and valleys like the big pipes do. And you guys play some other instruments as well. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. My actual undergraduate degree is in percussion performance.
Oh, okay.
So my main instrument was marimba all through high school and college. Started with piano when I was about 4, and then growing up in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains in Morganton, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
That's where I started my interest in the Scottish and Irish music, and here I am now in Louisville. So,
well, it's funny because that influence, that musical influence, came right across through the Carolinas and Virginias and settled here and gave us bluegrass in Kentucky. So, the history will forever be intertwined with the bluegrass. So,
absolutely.
Now we got another generation of local guys. You guys are both from Louisville, correct? Or
I'm from here.
You're from here.
I grew up
okay.
across the river in New Albany, but Louisville.
That's close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in North Carolina. That's home for me.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, we're glad to have you at the fest this year, and you guys can be seen every night of the fest. From what I hear, you guys are going to be sitting in doing some sets during the Coyle Friday night.
Yes.
And then Saturday you'll be playing at 11:45 and 1 p.m. and Sunday at 12:10 and 2:10.
Yep.
So there's 5 chances for people to get out and see you this weekend at the festival. I strongly encourage people to do so. Let me ask you guys a question. Pat and I got to talking, and you put a couple Irish guys together, they're going to run their gab.
Sure.
Can you guys stick around? Maybe do another segment later in the show with us, or you guys need to get out of here?
No, that's fine
You're
with me.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right, we're coming up on the top of the hour, but I want to hear another song from you guys. We want to talk a little bit more about the music scene. So if you guys can stick around, we'll pick you guys up again in the second hour and play another song and talk a little bit more Irish Fest.
Sure. Sounds great.
All right. You guys, did you guys play here? Have you played the Irish Fest before? Or is this your first year?
I've played in several other groups.
Okay. All right, we have a returning headliner this year. That's why I was asking if you guys have ever seen Dullahan. Yeah, they are a fantastic band. We very rarely bring the same band back twice as a headliner, but because of the nature of this band and what a great performance they put on, the audience that they pulled for us, and they're about ready to break, and they won't be doing the Irish festivals anymore, so we had to get them in one more time. They'll be our headliner on Saturday night, but plenty of chances to see you guys and lots of other great music this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the 2013 Louisville Irish Fest. Matt and Josh, stick around. We'll get to you guys some more in the second hour.
Sure thing.
For more of Resistance Radio.